Way to the grid on pole position is James Wainwright. Oh, James there shaking his head. He got a bit of a flyer at the start and he knew it, but he is away into coppice for the first time of asking. Up the hill he comes. So James Wainwright had alongside him on that front row of the grid Michael Booth, Ollie Linsdale and James Dye. And of course Ollie Linsdale and James Dye, race winners already in the Triumph Challenge at the last round up at Snetterton. But here, the mists of Lincolnshire still hanging over the circuit. Forecast actually is good, and look at this. Great onboard action from AJ Hutchinson, the Irish rider there, carrying the camera, and already somebody nipping up the inside there as he goes up Park Straight. Here the pack down through the gooseneck and away downhill towards Mansfield. A very critical corner. Oh, and somebody dumping it in the agricultural stuff, and that entire runoff there on the exit of the gooseneck, well, it's been dug up and reseeded. It's going to look beautiful when it's finished, but got to let nature do its stuff and get some grass on it, and that rider will be up and okay. Marshall's with him immediately as the field makes its way up from the exit of the S's onto the mountain, and wheels in the air there. I think that's AJ again, as they peel right and left and then right again through the infamous Hall Bends. Cadwell Park, one of the great bike circuits in the world. It's very daunting, but all the riders absolutely love it. Still James Wainwright away at the front, although I think probably he will have the news already that he's getting a 10-second penalty for that jump start. Michael Booth just sitting off him in second place. Michael also will probably have seen that sign. He'll know that James will be punished by that penalty. So it's difficult for Michael in a sense. He's got to ride as hard as he likes and get great shots down Park Straight there as they run up, and AJ just nipping by Josh Cagle there, but Josh coming back at him as they approach Chris Curves. Back with the leaders, Michael Booth, the red helmet there and the red and black leathers, chasing James Wainwright. It's lovely shots once again. Oh, breathtaking stuff here as from the rear of AJ's bike, coming under pressure, but he should have the line there. And James Wainwright in the lead. He'd be absolutely furious with himself. But it is difficult for Michael Booth because essentially he knows he's leading because of the 10-second penalty to James. But he's got to ride as hard as he can. He mustn't let up because the pack are behind, and the pack being led at the moment by Ollie Linsdale. James Dye in there as well. Ricky Chadwick is currently the leading Triple Challenge runner. And here once again these great shots from the rear of AJ Hutchinson, and Jack Sim is all over his case as they run down through the right-hander at Barn. And here across the start-finish line, the mass ranks of these triumphs. Of course, effectively we do have these two races within the one race, and up the front still it's James Wainwright. It's almost three races because James's problem now, knowing he's got a 10-second penalty, is he simply needs to try to get away at the front by as much as possible. If he can stay 10 seconds, if he could get 10 seconds ahead of Michael Booth, then he'd win the race. That's unlikely because Michael is sticking to him like the proverbial. He's not going to let him go. But the two of them are pulling away. You can see the gap there already over third and fourth. And if he can really stretch that gap, then he can make up places. Currently on countback, James Wainwright will probably be somewhere around about 7th or 6th place at the end of this. But he is keeping his speed up, is his problem. It's James Dye, closely followed by Ricky Chadwick, Steve Smith and Rob Guinan there. Rob in those blue leathers. Got a great result up at Snetterton. In fact, he had two good races up there, but a great finish as far as he's concerned, getting on the podium and loving every second of it. And these lovely shots again from the back of AJ Hutchinson's bike as he comes up the mountain down through Hall Bends, and just see the marshal's post on the outside there of Barn as they run down the hill once again to complete the lap here at Cadwell Park. His start-finish straight being along the bottom of the valley, and Michael Booth there closing on James Wainwright. So much for James needing to get away by 10 seconds at the front. Michael Booth determined not to let him go. I think this is exactly the right thing for Michael to do. He needs to keep the pressure up because A, he's got to keep his concentration, and B, he'll be thinking about the fact that as yet there've only been 2 winners in the series this year. There, Michael goes for it. He's slipped down the inside and he's up ahead of James Wainwright. This is great news. Now a lovely shot of AJ there. Great news for Michael Booth, and absolutely dismal news for James Wainwright. This is really ruining his day. The only real thing that James can do is to simply get on the gas and get ahead, and it's no good for him trailing Michael Booth around. Michael, however, as we said, he could be the 3rd different winner this year if he can hang on up the front there. And he would absolutely love that. Ex-Aprilia Super Team runner, of course. Rise up from the Exeter Coppice into Charlie's. James Wainwright retakes the lead. Now, this is absolutely desperately important for James. He needs that 10-second advantage, but my goodness me, Michael Booth is riding pillion with him at the moment. Michael will be absolutely determined not to let him go now, and he will go for it. These are not called young guns for nothing. They're not going to sit back, and it's easy at this stage of the season from the point of view when you're just watching it, but when they're sitting on those bikes, they won't be thinking about championship points. They just all want to get to the checkered flag first. Another lovely shot from AJ's bike, and there is AJ there. See if we can catch the camera there. Must be mounted, I think, probably somewhere under the seat. As they run down through Mansfield, Greville Ball, you can see he's running 3rd in the challenge at the moment. Tony Hart, 2nd of the challenge runners. And furious action there behind the camera as Josh Cagle looks left and right to get round AJ. And now this lovely shot as they run up the mountain at Cadwell Park, known as the mini Nürburgring throughout the racing world. And it's simply because it has one of just about everything in terms of corners, hills, cambers that can be chucked to any rider or driver. Across the start-finish line there, we see Ollie Linsdell, and Ollie gradually closing down on the leaders, and he's a press-on sort of chap, as can be evidenced by his results at Snetterton, and he's got his lovely watch that Michelin present to the winners of the Super Pole races. He's picked up one, and indeed James Wainwright picked up the other one, of course, here at Cadwell. He really is much closer in 3rd place. They've run down through Mansfield. That is a place for the very, very brave if they're going to decide to overtake. And that's a little bit of air there for James Wainwright as he runs up into the mountain section. And getting a little bit away at the front now, and you see what's happened behind. Michael Booth just falling back into the clutches of Ollie Linsdell. Well, you know, Ollie's going to know what the plot is just as much as Michael Booth. Michael desperately wants this win, and Ollie Linsdell will know that, and all the anxiety will be on the bike ahead of him, and he's closing and closing in the latter stage of this race. There is the yellow and black cross flag. That denotes the beginning of the last lap. Through goes James Wainwright, and that 10 seconds he's now eaten away, so he's just about 9.8 seconds at this point ahead of the 4th place rider on the road, so he will be officially placed 4th even if he passes the flag now, but if he can just pick up another half second, could be 3rd for James Wainwright at the end of what for him will have been a very tense race indeed. Lovely shot there again of AJ Hutchinson, but up the front it's young James Wainwright. He made his error at the start. He jumped the start, got a 10-second penalty, and he's had to give it absolutely everything. He's had brilliantly close attention from Michael Booth, but Michael's problem has been that in the latter stages, Ollie Linsdell, already a race winner, has been right with him, and they've let James Wainwright go. Here he comes, and showing the air under the front wheel as he passes the clubhouse here at the top of the mountain at Cadwell Park. And again, lovely action from the back of AJ's bike. But already checkered flag is being made ready down there on the start-finish straight. And as we watch these riders come down the hill there, it is shown to James Wainwright. Now, no real exultation for what could be.